Darius, my great nephew. Darius is from Louisiana. And so Darius really asked about a recommendation for a credit card to apply for. So, thank you, first of all. Thank you very much, Darius, for contacting me. This came through email. So, again, email me, 800 creditscoreman at gmail.com. Oh, and do me a favor while I'm talking about it. Go join my Facebook group, Credit Score Comeback. It's 4 different words. They're all capped, if that makes a difference. I know a couple people had a tough time finding it, but it's a Facebook group, Credit Score Comeback, 4 different words, all caps. Go join that group. You got to request it. I will absolutely put you into the group. So, Darius said, what's the recommendation for a credit card that I can apply for? So, here's my back and forth with Darius. One, I don't really want to get in the business of endorsing a credit card company unless they want to go ahead and advertise on the show. So you got a credit card company out there, you're listening to the show, tell your marketing people to give me a ring, and we'll see about putting an ad on the show with you, like with State Farm or somebody. So I don't want to really get into that. But if you are signed up with one of the companies that allows you to view your credit report for free, oftentimes they have a recommendations tab on there. So they're looking at your credit. They have all your information. They've given you a score and whatnot. They give you recommendations. Those recommendations are for credit cards or maybe even debt consolidation loans, things of that nature. They'll give you a recommendation. I'm going to recommend that you take a look at those recommendations, and you need to read through them. You need to read through them because the cards have different benefits, different interest rates, and different annual fees. Some have no annual fee, things of that nature. So I want you to go ahead and look at that recommendations tab and see what they say for you. If you're signed up with more than one place, say you're signed up with Credit Sesame and Credit Karma, look at both of them. They may have the same card in mind for you, or they may have different cards, but I want you to go ahead and evaluate them, because I really just don't want to get into the habit of saying, yes, go use XYZ card or try to apply for this card. Also, with those kinds of places, they give you the your chances of approval. So they may tell you have, a 80-90% chance of being approved for this particular card. So I want you to go ahead and look at those. And so typically, from my experience with them, they're accurate as well. So if they say you have a very good chance of being approved, oftentimes you are approved for that particular card. And not only do they do regular credit cards, and I'm putting up air quotes in the studio, they do regular credit cards, which is, a card you don't have to pay any money in advance. They also may recommend a secured card for you as well. If you've got an issue with your credit and you can't get a regular credit card, they may give you an option for secured cards as well. So make sure you do that when it comes to those things. You can also simply Google. If you Google for credit cards for people with bad credit cards for people with a score of 600, credit cards with for people with a score of 700. If you Google those things, you'll find articles, and I've read a couple this week that give you the best cards for you. So in your particular situation. So, and they're pretty good. One of them I read was actually sponsored by somebody. So you got to be careful about when they sponsor them, because then of course their card is always going to appear there, and it's going to be like, oh yeah, this is the perfect card for you. So make sure that you do that. Now I would like for you to stay away for a couple of cards, and those cards are subprime cards. So if you do have a lower credit score, there are some cards out there that will approve you, like a regular credit card, and it won't be secured, but their interest rates are as high as that they can actually get them. Their fees are higher. So, if you make a late payment, if you go over your limit, any of those kinds of things, those fees are very high. So there are some cards out there that will approve you even if you have some bad credit, but they are very tough to deal with. They're tough to deal with if you ever have an issue, and oftentimes people have issues with them outside of, paying on time and things of that nature. So it's a couple cards I want you to avoid. I don't want to throw them under the bus on the air like this. So if you want to know these couple of cards that I have top of mind, then I want you to contact me, 800 creditscoreman at gmail.com. Or you can even send me a text message, 312-600-5855. If this is something you want to know, should I get this card? You've never heard of this place before, contact me. 312-600-5855. And you can also use that number to contact me to get on my schedule so we can talk about, helping you restore your credit. If you know anything about me at all, I help people restore their credit. I don't call it fixing it. I don't call it repairing it. I call it restoration. Because at one point in time, it was good. Even if it was good back when you were 19 years old and it's been bad ever since, it was good at one point in time. So we're going to help you restore your credit, and you can contact me there. So Darius, thank you so very, very much. I truly appreciate you contacting me. You too can become a part of the 800 Credit Score Man Show family, just like Darius has just become part of it by contacting me. And maybe your question, if you have one, could be on the show. So please contact me, 800 Credit Score Man at gmail.com, and you may become part of the show. So again, thank you so very much, Darius. All right, so let's get back into this spring cleaning thing, and I want to give a shout out to, before I do that, David C. Jones. I want to say happy birthday to you, David C. Jones. I got to say happy birthday to J.R. Welch as well. Happy birthday to you, my brother, one of my frat brothers. So happy birthday to you, J.R. Welch. David C. Jones is one of my frat brothers too. And then I got to say happy birthday to Blake Owens. So he celebrated a birthday a couple days ago. So happy birthday to you, Blake, as well. All right, so let's jump back into this whole thing about cleaning and your spring cleaning. So you got your taxes back, or they're coming back already. If you're getting money back, you probably already filed and you got that money in hand. Maybe you spent some of it, maybe you didn't. But I want you to use your taxes wisely, especially when it comes to dealing with your credit. I don't want you to get all that money in your hand and then just throw it at the wall, hoping it'll help you increase your credit score. There is a serious strategy to this, where people become dissatisfied with credit restoration or credit repair people and whatnot, is that they throw the spaghetti at the wall and hope something sticks. They look at, well, you got to do this and you got to do that to help repair your credit, and they don't do it in any particular order or any particular time. And that's what I specialize in, is the strategy behind it. So I don't want you going out and, I'm saying clear your credit collections up. I don't want you going out there in January just doing it and paying the full $800 that you owe. That's not it's helpful for you, but it's not the best for you. So that's what I'm saying. Don't just throw stuff at the wall. When you look at maybe reducing your debt, you want to reduce your credit card debt so it'll help your debt utilization number, and that will raise your score. You don't want to just say, okay, I owe this particular credit card $1,400. I'm just going to pay it off. That's not necessarily the best thing for you. You need somebody that's going to give you a strategy. I'm here to do that for you. So you can contact me again, 312-600-5855. So use your credit wisely. Use your taxes wisely by making sure you do it in the correct way. And then I want you to look at your credit cards if you're over the limit anywhere. Now, if you're over the limit anywhere, oftentimes they'll charge you a little fee for being over the limit. And if you just pay your minimum monthly balance, what's going to happen? You're going to pay the minimum monthly balance. The interest is going to eat that little amount up. And the next month, you're going to be over the limit again. So you're going to have to pay a little more. So I'm going to suggest that you take whatever interest you've been charged. So take a look at your statement. Say you've been charged, $50 in interest for your particular card this month. You want to take 50 extra bucks at least and add that to whatever your minimum monthly payment is. So you got a minimum monthly payment of $25, and the interest they're charging you that particular month is $47.89. You want to take 50 bucks plus that $25, that's $75, especially if you're over the limit. You want to take that money and you want to apply it to that card. You don't want to be over the limit. Not only does it look bad to lenders, it's going to look very bad to lenders if you're over the limit and then you're coming in and you're asking for money for something else. It looks bad to them. So if you have all these factors, you got a lower credit score, you got a short credit age, you haven't been on your job that long, and you're over the limit places, it's going to look bad to them, so you may not be approved. So you want to make sure that you're under the limit. Plus, it's costs you money. It costs you money every month that you're over the limit. So if you've got anything that's over the limit, I need you to pay it down under the limit, at least, bare minimum, if you've had a good track record with them. And just because you're over the limit doesn't mean that you have bad credit. You can have good credit and be over the limit. And if that's the case, you've got good credit, and if you've got a good payment history with this particular credit card company, I want you to go ahead and give them a call. Maybe they'll raise your limit. If they raise your limit, just say $500, at least now you're under the limit. All right, so give them a ring and try to work it around that way. I want you to do that as well. I should have mentioned this first, I guess. It's good time to pull your credit report. If you haven't pulled your credit report and you haven't pulled it from the quote unquote official place, which is www.annualcreditreport.com. If you haven't pulled your credit report from there, either TransUnion, Equifax, or Experian, at least one of them, go ahead to www.annualcreditreport.com. Now, if you're following it with, say Credit Karma, Credit Sesame, Quizzle, name a place, if you're following it, your credit report with any of them, the information should absolutely be the same. If you get a TransUnion credit report from annualcreditreport.com and one from one of these other places, then the credit report should absolutely be the same. If it's not, there's definitely an issue and you need to go about correcting that. But it should absolutely be the same. But you want to pull your credit report, take a look at it, make sure everything on it is accurate. If it's not accurate, I want to move on to the next thing. I want you to file a dispute if it's not accurate. Now, if it's talking about your amounts, the credit card says you owe $545 and you actually owe $425, that's not necessarily a big deal. But if it's a wide difference, it says you owe $2,800 and you only owe $800, that's a big deal. You need to make sure that you contact them to get that corrected. Now, if you just made the payment of $2,000 because you got taxes back or whatever, you just made a payment of $2,000 last week and it's not showing yet, that's nothing to be alarmed about. Your credit reports, your credit companies only report to the credit bureau once a month. So once a month. Maybe that's before your due date, maybe that's after your due date, but they're only going to report once a month. Just because you make a payment on the 16th doesn't mean that it's going to be updated to your credit bureau by the 17th. So you got to make sure that you know that as well so you don't panic if you see that on your credit report. So pull your credit report. I'm going to suggest you go to www.annualcreditreport.com. Do not Google that. If you Google them, you may find yourself on a website that's going to ask you to pay for it. This is not a pay site. It's free. It's offered to us from the Federal Credit Reporting Act, the FCRA. So make sure that you go on and you get one of those. And I always suggest it's 3 credit bureaus that you pull them separately during the month. During the year. You got 12 months. You can get a free one every 12 months. So you go check out TransUnion one time, check out Experian the next time, and check out Equifax the next time when you want to do it. I've also talked about my strategy behind that, and you can probably look that up on one of the shows as well. All right, so let me throw out this last tidbit for you guys, and I'm gonna give you a shout out to Alan Turner. Alan Turner also celebrated a birthday, so happy birthday to you, Alan Turner. Okay, so this last little thing is goodwill letters. It's spring cleaning time. I want you to send letters of goodwill. It's goodwill towards you because you're asking your creditor, whatever kind of account it is, doesn't matter if it's a car, if it's a student loan, if it's a credit card, if it's your mortgage, you're going to be asking them to help you out and remove something from your credit report that's negative for you. So if you've made a late payment, one late payment, I don't care if it was back in 2014, it's still on your credit report right now. When you pull up your accounts on your credit report, it'll show you. You get little green dots, or it'll say green, or you have a nice positive check, and then you might see that yellow one, and that means you were probably 30 days late somewhere. If you see a red one, that probably means that you were 90 days late or 60 to 90 days late. So if you've got any of those kinds of things on your credit report, I don't care what company it is, even if that account is closed, especially if it's closed and you actually paid it off, they didn't have to write it off or what have you, you paid it, then you want to send them a goodwill letter. And this letter simply states, hey, I had an issue, especially if you still have that account and it's open. I had an issue. I was late one time, and I was perfect before then in my payments, and I've been perfect with my payments since then, and I'm requesting that you remove this late payment from my credit report. They may say yay, they may say nay, but it's absolutely worth doing. It'll take you 10 minutes to write the letter if you're not good at writing letters. Doesn't have to be a long